Wednesday, the 17th day of July 2024. A very beautiful morning to you. I do hope you listening to me at the moment is having a fine morning so far. You are welcome to the newspaper review, where we get to, talk about all the things happening, making headlines on the dailies today, and of course, so much stories on the major dailies that we have for you today. But one thing I want to first talk about is the fact that I saw news recently of the Minister of Power complaining and saying sanctions will be made against agencies that do not get to pay, especially their bills in the power sector. It reminds me of the time where one of the the distributor companies, the AEDC, was giving stories about how much different agencies host their company, from the police to Ministry of Information to different ministries, and it raked up to about billions of naira. Even as of this morning, we see universities owing about 2.2 billion when it comes to bills for power. And I wonder, and I ask myself a very important question: if you're owing this much, how then do you expect these power companies to operate? How then do you expect them to do their job diligently? 2.2 billion naira from the universities alone is no small money. Let's imagine other ministries. Let's imagine other people who are, owing the same, equally this amount of money. Well, welcome to the newspaper review. My name is Uche Okori, and of course, I will not be doing this alone. I have an amazing people in the studio with me today. Good morning, ladies.
Yes, good morning, Uche. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you. It's a full house today. I'm blessed among ladies. Good morning to you too. Okay.
Good morning.
Oh, it's nice to hear your voice now.
Exactly.
How are you doing? I do hope you had a beautiful night.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Good morning to you all. Welcome to the newspaper review. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll go into the papers in full.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931. Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
High Impact 102.1 FM. We are your urban lifestyle station. And in case you're just joining us, yes, you are right on time. It is time for the newspaper review, where we get to give you all the updates making headlines. Remember, you can be part of the conversation. Yes, you can get to tell us how you feel, what's happening in your area, or whatever stories that affect you and you want to share your thoughts. You can get to do that this morning if you send us a WhatsApp message on 0907 224 5018. You can also send a regular text message on that number, 0907 224 5018. But in case you want to call us up in the studio so we can get to hear your voice, you can call us up on 0700 1021 1021. I take that one more time, 0700 1021 1021. That's the number you can call us at, and we can get to feel your pulse this beautiful Wednesday morning. Moving straight to the papers, we'll be leading with this one, Daily Trust. And Daily Trust has something interesting for you this morning, saying domestic airfares trump regional tickets. Domestic airfares trump regional tickets. It has free riders to that story. It says Lagos to Abuja flights cost 250,000 naira, but 233,000 naira to Accra. I'm imagining. It's cheaper for me to go to Abuja than for me to go to Ghana. Wow. Shortage of aircraft hits industry. How to stop racketeering? That's according to an operator. In case you want to find out about those stories, in case you want to know what the operator is talking about, go get the Daily Trust. Page 4 is where you can find that story. But isn't it funny that we can move, cheaper? Although it's not cheap, 250,000 naira is not cheap. Let's be honest, because we are this country at a time where flights from Lagos to Abuja cost as much as 15 to 20,000 naira.
Yeah,
and now we are saying 250,000 naira. But that's not news. The news is the fact that it's cheaper to go to Abuja than it is
to go to
I mean,
Ghana.
it's more
Ghana.
expensive to go to Abuja than it is to go to Ghana. That is not good news. It really is not good news. If our local flights are more expensive than regional flights, then are you saying everybody's at risk of just going through road, and which we can't do so because of the insecurity we have in our roads?
Definitely. 250,000 naira, it's a lot of money.
It is.
Compared to the last time that, basically went to Abuja.
Honestly.
Was like quarter of that amount.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very, very hard for someone to actually want to go to Abuja because, people don't use roads anymore. Just few people that can afford to take flights. And now you're seeing Ghana for 233,000. Who are the authorities? Who are the people that are actually putting out these fees? Because you cannot be writing these, we are seeing these on the headlines and the newspaper front pages of the newspaper that are saying that you're going to another country basically for less than what you're going to be
Around
paying inside your own country. It's very weird. I hope that it's sorted out very soon, because that these flights, they were always talking about it, that their fuel is expensive, aviation and everything is expensive, this and that, but we didn't know that it's going to be up to it. Because are you not using fuel to go to Ghana?
Right.
Well, it gets to
Or
show.
are they different types of fuels?
Nah, it's the
The
same.
figures are looking really funny.
Very.
It's the same aviation fuel, but the thing is, I think it has to do more with the fact that local flights or the local companies that has flights, the different ones that run local flights, probably most of them do not have aircraft that are ready to move to the interstates, and they only have a few ones that are ready to move regionally. Sometimes it gets to happen that way. But in case you want to find out most of those details, the Daily Trust has all of that for you, so you can get to find out. Just beside the pictures which is here on the Daily Trust, if you look at the Daily Trust newspaper, there are pictures of plane charts and all that tally for you to get to understand what the major headline is talking about. But we get to see something here: 14 dead in Jigawa road crash. So sad. 14 people lost their life in Jigawa road crash. You want to read about that story? Page 19 has it for you. Below that one, PDP government meets in Enugu to discuss National Working Committee and Rivers issues. Well, Rivers will always be in the news for a very, very, very long time to come. A bit of foreign news here. Rwanda's Kagame wins fourth term with 99% of votes. The funny thing about Rwanda and their president is the fact that we've seen so many changes happen in Rwanda. So many changes. But it's starting to feel like he's going to be one person who doesn't want to give up on power. Like, this is the fourth time. In as much as you're trying to, do good for your nation and all that. But 4 times?
It's a lot.
There are other smart people there.
Yeah, we see that a lot in African countries. Not
Honestly.
only Rwanda, I see that in Cameroon. You see this country, the presidents are old, are already using wheelchairs, using walking stick, using this clutches to actually move around. And they're going for the third time. They're going for the fourth time. Why are we doing that? And later we'll say that the continent is not thriving like other developed continents. I just feel like it's a lot. Fourth them, and he amassed 99% votes.
Who does?
Okay.
Who always?
They must love him. They must love
They
him.
must love
What I was
him.
saying, what I was saying, okay.
Like this fourth term that we're talking about like few months ago, there was a headline talking about maybe the president actually running for 6 terms. And I was like, really? I know when we actually were like, yeah, that maybe if 4 terms is too small, maybe I'm like, Really?
It only happens in
Really?
Africa. It
Only in
only
Africa.
happens in
Only in Africa. Only in Africa do we get to see these kind of things. It's turning to be a dictatorship.
Yes.
Rather
Yes.
than something
Yes.
else. Because fresh ideas must come. We need
Yeah.
fresh people, fresh ideas. There are things other people can do.
Do.
Looking
Agree.
from another angle. So, well. Congratulations to Rwanda, by the way. Our congratulations are in order. Just above the major headline news here, below the nameplate, the Daily Trust. After Supreme Court ruling, state governments raise to conduct local government polls. Well, that's something we'll be seeing more often, at least before the year runs out. We'll be seeing more about local government elections. Beside that one, Kano government signs bill creating 3 second-class emirates. Wow. Tradition keeps going into government nowadays. Now we do not know the difference. Is it tradition or is it government? Well, Zamfara attack, 5 women escape as 5 men killed by bandits buried. Sad news we see on the Daily Trust newspaper. You want to learn more about the Daily Trust newspaper and all the things they have for you? Please go get the one this morning. That's the much on the Daily Trust for this morning.
And don't forget, you can call us on 070010211021 or send us a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0907224518 to react to any of the story that caught your attention this morning on front pages of the newspaper. I have with me the Punch newspaper. The major story on the front page of the Punch says local government autonomy. The 13 states rush to hold council polls. The 13 states rush to hold council polls. Two writers saying Bauchi fixes local government poll for August 19. Kogi election holds October 19. Jigawa, Imo, Anambra, Abia, Katsina, Kebbi, Benue sets for exercise. You can read the full details of that particular one on page 2. When they say they rush to hold council polls, that means you're saying that they've been waiting for this because the local government was created because of these. For years they've not had the strength, or will I say the leverage, to actually exercise it. And so when you say they rush, they've given them the autonomy. I don't think they are rushing it. They're actually setting the pace. They don't want to lag behind. They want to do it step by step. Okay, you're giving us power. Let me now start doing what you want us to do.
Well, for some people, yeah, you're right. It's beautiful. But some people are, with a little bit of, sinister mindset will be like, calm down. Is it because that they said now they won't send money to the caretaker managers? You people want to make sure that you bring out your anointed people to become council, so that at least the money gets to them, and who knows, they get to you, because nowadays we get to see political godfatherism everywhere.
Yes,
every single. We saw the issue with Fubara and Wike.
Yeah.
Who's to say who's to say that the governor will not be the one to buy all the forms for the local government chairmans in their council, and when they win and loyalty goes there? No. Well, who's to say that can't happen? But hey, it's a good one. Local councils are coming.
It is. It is. We can't wait for them to just start doing what they need to do or what they should do. And still on the Punch newspaper, it's sad one killed. The journalist shot in Kenya. Fresh protest. When we heard that Kenya started the protest again, they started. They had protests. There's a lot going on in Kenya at the moment.
A whole lot.
There's a lot going on in Kenya, and now they started a fresh protest. One killed, journalist shot in Kenya. It's very sad. I hope that the government in Kenya especially sits down and reason with the citizens, the reasons, because you're not, if all the citizens in your country just go away, who are you governing? Who are you leading? I don't think you're leading anybody at the moment. You can read that on page 25 if you're interested in that particular Kenyan story. And above the nameplate on the Punch, it says the minimum wage. Labour threatens 30-day strike, alleges plan to decentralize stocks. Labour threatens 30-day strike, alleges plan to decentralize stock. Page 17. Some Nigerians you hear this we have come again, we have come again. They'll call you again to close doors to say that you're not going to suspend.
It gets suspended again.
Okay, I guess we're going to ask our analyst this.
Well,
definitely to see what he has to say about the labor.
Aside that, we'll get to see if this dog will actually bite.
We want to, because at least I can count the number of times
Yeah.
that the labor have gone on strike or threatened to go on strike because of minimum wages this year. So yeah, you can read that on page 17. Like I said, federal government wants 22 states of 5-day massive flooding. Federal government wants 22 states of 5-day massive flooding. Page 28. I hope Lagos is not part of them, because 5 days is a lot. 5 days is a lot of days.
What kind of hope is that?
Just 2 weeks ago, just 2 weeks ago, because I can remember just one
my.
day. What am I saying? One day, just hours of
everywhere
rain,
was
Don't-
hours of
Upside
rain,
down.
and it was flooded. It was
95.
blocked.
the fact you could hope, I could. Wow.
I am going to go to the mountains because of this, so that Lagos would and Ogun State would definitely not be part. But yeah, it's impossible. We see NMPCL meets military police to curb oil theft. NMPCL meets military police to curb oil theft. You can read that on page 7. Food security representatives invite CDS the minister over ungoverned spaces. Representatives invite CDS the minister over ungoverned spaces. Page 25 also has the story, and beneath that, court declines Emefiele's request for foreign medical trip. Court declines Emefiele's request for foreign medical trip. Page 7. What happened to your local medical trip? You are where? You're not a free man anymore. I just think that we actually get to that, and he actually gets it. I guess it's really fast. You're not a free man anymore. I think you should be requesting for a medical.
Well, he has a right to a medical trip. But I understand when you say there's the local part. But what if he can be treated here?
Have you tried it? Have you tried it?
How many of them do get to try it?
That's it. He hasn't tried it, and because he's not a free man, he doesn't have the right to say that. He just has to say that. Okay, I need medical attention, and now let's look at it. Can the local medical practitioners do that? If they can't do that, then the court will
probably
say,
they can't. Is why he's requesting for the foreign trip.
You've not tried it. You're not like I said. He's not a free man anymore. It's as if there's a different case. If you're a free man and you've tried it and it doesn't work, then you can go. But you're not a free man. You don't give the court to say that. Judge, I have to travel out of the country because of my medical. No, I don't think it is.
It will be hard because you are at risk of fleeing away. So it's I think most of the time when we have this kind of case, the passport is mostly seized, and it's impossible for you to fly out of the country. So it's a dicey one.
It is,
and I hope it gets any medical trip.
But yeah, the court has declined it, so hopefully you see a local medical practitioner or not. A crypto billionaire technopreneur arrested for alleged fraud, terrorism funding. Crypto billionaire technopreneur arrested for alleged fraud, terrorism funding. You can read that on pages 4 and 5. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, it says the U.S. promises timely delivery of attack helicopters to Nigeria. U.S. promises timely delivery of attack helicopters to Nigeria. Page 25 also has that story. And yes, that's what I have on the front page of the Punch newspaper.
And moving on to The Guardian, we have here on the front page, there's some, there's a pictorial analysis of the kind of bills that have been paid by university. And here it says on page 6, new electricity tariff. Blackout looms as 11 universities struggle with 2.92 billion naira bill monthly. 2.92 billion naira bill monthly. Like I said, there are statistics here. Some universities have been lined out, and it's just increasing. You're seeing 280 million, 350 million, and these are the amounts that have been paid by universities. Like, these are students, quite alright. And I know that, okay, maybe some of them have guardians, or maybe they are fending for themselves. So if they cannot even concentrate with having lights, maybe at night, then how are they supposed to pass pass and have all their how am I going to put it now? The things that they do in school, how is everything going to be done properly? I remember being in school and there wasn't light for a very long while. It was really, really terrible. And now with this electricity tariff, we won't say that, okay, because they are students, probably they will be left out. But I feel also maybe these universities, like the chancellors and vice chancellors, they should be able to like help them. They are students, they have a lot of things to do. It's not like maybe hardly you see people that are like working. So I think there should be something that be done.
When you say help them, what do you mean by help them?
Like probably a certain percentage, yes, could be paid for by them.
I don't think students pay electricity bills. They don't pay electricity. They pay with their their hostel fees and accommodation. Yes, so they don't pay electricity bills separately. Like we're staying.
I think the more issue this
area.
headline has is the fact that for schools, for them to be able to churn out that kind of amount monthly, it's quite huge, because
it is.
How much is the school earning in their own way?
Yes.
How much are they, making for them that monthly they will have to churn out? This is a combination of 11 universities. So let's say if we separate them, we're talking about over hundreds of million. How much do they make?
Most schools don't even generate their funds. Just few schools that actually have, like, I had in my schools there, they had bread, they had other things. I think snacks or an eatery where they make a lot of money, because I know they sell a lot of bread daily, loaves of bread daily. So yes, they try to generate their own fund. But yeah, which other school and they do some agriculture thing and everything. So, but if I just know about my own school then, my alma mater then, do I know of other schools that actually generate a little bit of money? Because they try to get a little bit of money before the state government, because we're a state school, before the state government actually settle their bills and do stuff like that. And now, if he's talking about this, this electricity bill, that's the money they've generated from that one day they're generating can actually pay quarter, because 2 something billion is a lot of money. So they can pay a quarter of that amount of money. So how are they going to pay the rest?
Well,
So I think that I think that
Huge, actually.
the government and the electricity
They should
Body,
be
the
able
body
to
should actually sit
work
down
together.
and work together, so that they can actually cost down the bills they give to school,
probably
to
like
universities.
some sort of subsidy to the
Yes,
education sector when it comes to electricity.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's on page 6. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Below it, we have here that Kano presses fresh charges against Ganduje as House OK second-class emirs. We heard that earlier when we're taking the Daily Trust newspaper. You can get more of that on page 26. By the side, it says NLC vows 1 month protest if NASS passes obnoxious, in quotes, wage law. NLC vows 1 month protest if NASS passes obnoxious wage law. You can find that on page 6, still on the Guardian newspaper. Beside it, we have NCDC warns of rising yellow fever cases as cholera deaths hit 103. NCDC warns of rising yellow fever cases as cholera deaths hit 103. We are still talking of cholera. This is another one that is coming. I'm just going to say that everyone should be really careful of their environment and the things they are eating, because all of a sudden there's just this wave of flu and diseases that are around. So you can find that on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. There we have police officer nabbed for armed robbery in Kogi. Police officer nabbed for armed robbery in Kogi. That's on page 8. And also, drug scarcity looms as pharmaceutical companies suspend raw materials importation. Drug scarcity looms as pharmaceutical companies suspend raw materials importation. I think at the end of the day, we'll go back to using herbs, because if we don't have raw materials to make these drugs, I don't know what we're going to do. That's on page 15. We have court issues arrest warrant on Kuje prison physician over Binance executive. Court issues arrest warrant on Kuje prison physician over Binance executive. You can find all of this or read more of this particular story on page 3. And below it, we have on page 5, health insurance mandatory for residents as Sanwo-Olu earmarks 5 billion naira to complete NYSC camp. Health insurance mandatory for residents as Sanwo-Olu earmarks 5 billion naira to complete NYSC camp. We have beside it again at the extreme left below on page 3, you can find that Oba Kiolu begs Nigerians for prayers, patience on Tinubu's behalf. Obakiolu begs Nigerians for prayers and patience on Tinubu's behalf. That is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. If you want to react to any of these stories, you can call us on 0700-1021-1021 or send a text message or WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. And that is all we have for the Guardian newspaper.
Well, finally, on the Vanguard newspaper, we'll take this as quick as possible so we can get our analyst in the house to discuss most of the major stories. It leads with this one: FG's policies crippling businesses. That's according to NECA, MAN, and Nasima. You want to find out what they are saying? You need to go get yourself the Vanguard newspapers. It has so many writers on this one, so you need to find out how the policies of the federal government are actually crippling the economy. You get to see pictures on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, and below those pictures you see Tinubu orders CDS to end oil theft. Tinubu orders CDS to end oil theft. That's page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper. Beside that news, Sunday Igboho to armed herders leave Southwest now. Sunday Igboho to armed herders leave Southwest now. Page 8 has that story for you this morning. And IMF downgrades Nigeria's economic growth forecast to 3.1%. Wow, really sad. IMF downgrades Nigeria's economic growth forecast to 3.1%. You want to find out about that story? Page 19 has more for you. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, it is time for us to speak to our in-house analyst of the major stories we have on the newspaper review this morning. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931. Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
It's about to go down.
It's about to go down.
It's about to go down.
It's about to go down. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
You better be ready to say hello to the cool cash that's about to splash your way. High Cash Splash is gonna make it rain.
What do I do?
Simply dial the USSD code *347*972#. Select the amount of tickets you want to purchase, select your bank, and then you'll get an SMS with 2 payment options. Make payment and you stand a chance to win with just 500 Naira, or visit highcashsplash.com for more details.
Yeah.
It's popping up on selected shows on High Impact Radio 1021. So remember, the more you play, the higher your chances of winning cool cash on the High Cash Splash raffle draw.
High Cash Splash is powered by Lasho Trading Services Limited and licensed by Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Authority. Not suited for anyone under 18. Play responsibly.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931. Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. It is the newspaper review, and of course, in case you are just joining us, well, we are halfway in. We have our in-house analyst, a public affair analyst, Mr. Sheson Okunade, who will be here to discuss more of the, more stories that made the major headlines. But in case you want to be part of the conversation, remember you can still send a WhatsApp message or regular text message on 0907 224 5018, or you can call us up on 0700 1021 1021. Good morning, sir. How are you doing today, sir?
Good morning, Uche. Good morning. Good morning to all our listeners across the globe.
Yes.
This beautiful midweek Wednesday.
Okay, good morning to you, sir.
Morning, sir.
I do hope your morning is fine so far.
Yeah, we thank God. At least we're trying to leave each day as the camp. Just not quite interested for business owners, but we keep pushing.
Okay, well, that's all we have to do. Keep pushing and making sure that someday things get better. I need to lead with this one because it's huge. We get to see situations where universities, companies, too many organizations owe so much when it comes to electricity tariff. And we saw yesterday the Minister of Power, Mr. Delabu, warning that directors of agencies will not be spared when it comes to paying their fees in the power sector. Don't you think most of these agencies, especially the education sector, deserve some sort of subsidization when it comes to electricity tariff? Because for 11 universities to be owing to pay as much as 2.92 billion monthly, it's quite expensive.
Thank you very much, Uche. This speaks to the priority that we give to the education sector, and that we've asked ourselves. If we say the commercial arm of businesses to go ahead and pay the high tariffs that have actually come up for the education sector, every country that understands the importance of education will not go the route that we are actually faced with. You hear about the complaints of ASU and the staff talking about welfare, and you hear the vice chancellors most of the time complaining about the subvention they get from the government. So I believe it's government to government, and there should be priority. So this set of people, knowing fully well that if you increase the cost of the school fees, what you're trying to do is to reduce the educational empowerment that you're giving to citizens of the country, which in turn turn out to be a negative impact by those that are supposed to be in school or supposed to be in one trade or the other to learn. Because of the high cost of educational system, they are out, and those are the people that get to be part of those ills that we are faced with in the country. So for me, it's not something we should be discussing. If you ask me whether there should be subsidy, it should be a priority. I listened to Tony when he was saying certain schools look for other things to do to generate. But you know that on its own increase the cost of electricity. When you have a bakery, when you make the bread, you make the money, but definitely you will increase the price of that particular product if you must meet with the foreign state of paying that electricity bill. So education is something that every serious-minded country don't joke with. Provide the necessary infrastructure. Why is everybody going to have their masters outside the shore of this nation? It's when you convert, because of our poor and weak currency, it's when you convert those currencies to our own currency that it becomes an issue. But if you are out there and you hear what they are paying for their education system, you'll be encouraged to go to school. So having about 11 universities coming to pay 2 something billion naira, for me, government needs to look inward, because it's just like every manufacturer, you will transfer that cost to the end user. And the end users are the students, which, if the parents, with the harsh economy we're currently faced with, cannot cope with the school fees, it's just to pull out the student, and you discover that you have more miscreants on the road. That's why you see at times, you ask yourself, these people that engage in certain use in the environment, they look so sound, they are very intelligent. Rather than them investing that their level of intelligence, in things that will develop the country, they would rather go to the other side, because an idle mind, somebody who is supposed to be in school, the parent cannot afford, and it's not even working, just like we have in the developed world where you are given opportunity to do the work. Those are very good graduates. They have any work to do. Those people in the high schools there, what they do is that they do some certain work to support the education system, have access to simple loan, which we said we want to start. We are yet to see the light of the day. So we need to prioritize it if we must grow and move as a nation. And the cost of operation of the education system should highly be subsidized, because an educated and enlightened environment gives good rights to development and growth of the economy of such nature.
Oh, definitely. We cannot overemphasize the importance of education to lead to a developed society. And one of the ways we can also have a developed society, especially in in the third world countries, also from the local government level of governorship, of government, I mean. And we see since on Thursday, after the Supreme Court gave the decision for local government autonomy, 13 states are ready to hold local council polls. But the major question most Nigerians still ask is the fact that how are they going to be sure these governors are not still going to be like godfathers to these particular local government chairmen? How are we going to be assured that this local government will truly have its own autonomy and not just some sort of godfatherisms from the governor who might try to impose some of their candidates as the local government chairman?
Which you see, when it comes to godfatherism, it's part of our politics. It is the citizen that has the responsibility of bringing accountability or asking for accountability from whoever they nominate. You see, you make the seat hot for whether it's a candidate or anybody that is actually placed there. Because you know that before now, there is no election when it comes to local government. It's more of selection.
Yeah.
So, and it's because they want to actually protect what they will be giving out. They go as far as, getting the money, giving it to they dictate to carry out contracts, dictate what to do. So what you need to do as individual, because for me, it's a good step in the right direction of giving this autonomy. We can go ahead and question some of these things. There are things while we were growing up those days that we know is the responsibility of the local government.
True.
Now we can pick them on to say, now you have the funds, you are no longer under the state. Even though we were told that this will take effect possibly in the next 3 months, they need to streamline certain things and get it done properly. But now we can hold the local government accountable of certain responsibility expected of them to be done. So whether it's their candidate, whether it's they're going to be godfatherism, which if they call you tomorrow to be a local government chairman, you know there are people that will ask questions.
Definitely.
You have two options. It's either you accept it or you go after, because now people will be more hard on the local government chairman because there are no excuses. I've had opportunity to talk to some guys and say this autonomy, we don't want it. Because they themselves are actually hiding under the state government. So when they give them a little, they take that to themselves and they ask that they're not giving us money from the state. So that's the problem we are faced with. So, but now it's coming directly to them. They know they are in for a big, accountability on the part of their stewardship to the citizen. So I will continue to tell you that the country that are serious minded, these are things that they will want to do. But whether it's godfather or no godfather, the truth of the matter is we await those that will be elected, and they will definitely continue to ask questions. So we are not concerned whether it's Godfather or no Godfather. As far as we are concerned, account for what is actually given to you, because this is grassroots politics that is going to be displayed. All these things that we are calling the cholera. While we are growing up, there are people that we call wole, those health officers that come to check activities of what we're doing. And it is local government area. There are some roads that are meant for local government to fix. There are some infrastructure that are expected of the local government to fix. But we are always push everything to the state, as we always push to the federal government. Now that this has happened, we care less whether it's Godfather, whether you are anointed candidate. As far as we are known, you are elected to lead that particular local government, and you are accountable to us. As a matter of fact, we take less distraction, less concentration on the state, and make sure that there are some even drainages that are expected of local government to be fixed, and they are not being keep hiding under local government. We think whosoever is going to take the responsibility as the chairman of local government or even councillor of those local government, they need to have a second thought, because there are certain set of people that will ask questions. I've heard of people that have said that they've got to go and compile allocation that has been sent to their local government, and what in proportion should have come to their own area, locality, CDA, CDC. People are more enlightened now, and it's a wake-up call for whosoever will be taken. So it's not going to be business as usual, where the godfathers will say, go, you are the local government. You are not answerable to them again. You are not answerable to the people, because everybody will definitely know what is actually being sent to the local government that will belong to.
Okay, picking from the wole angle which you came from, because growing up we all saw that, especially if you're from this part from Lagos, where those people come to make sure your house were clean and all that. If there were dirt and all that, your house were sealed. And I want to link this up towards the oil theft happening in Nigeria, because if we could have situations like where there are community watch that try to secure this our oil pipelines, or we do hear sometimes where we say government has contracted particular private security agencies to watch our oil pipelines and all that, but yet we still complain or hear about in the news of oil theft. Is it that the security agencies are not capable of actually defending our oil pipelines, or there's not really political will to stop this oil theft?
I would say there is no political will. The major issue there is that everybody wants to enjoy their largesse, and there is this rival between the locals and those that are actually given the responsibility. You see, the way it goes is, if you are losing 1 million and you employ someone to be a control officer, and suddenly you reduce that into about 300 or 400,000, what will you say? Oh, kudos to you. You've actually assisted me in streamlining. Does that give them that ceiling is still not there? There are certain people that will call you and tell you that, do you want to die as a prophet? Don't you want to enjoy this like this? You can see what the government politicians are doing. This is the way to go. Okay, what we'll do is to relax the pressure, allow you to have certain reports to the government to make them see as if you're working. But this is how you go about, and before you know it, the person that was actually there to do the right thing, because there is no punishment for any of those, even those that were caught doing it. What punishment did you offer to them to serve as deterrent to any other one to go into it? All we just do is that, okay, we've been able to reduce the pressure of the stealing. But those that were stealing before now, what did you do to tame those activities of them?
You have 1 minute remaining.
Those that are actually doing what is not right in the environment, not just coming to say that this oil theft has actually been reduced. We must be able to punish the set of people. That is why we see the level of insecurity increasing, because there are no punishment. How many people have you heard? All we hear most of the time is that those repentant bandits or terrorists or this thing are actually being welcomed back, integrated back into the system. And you ask yourself, those that is actually punished and dealt with are still in the IDP, and you are celebrating those that are actually killed by the sword, when you should have capital punishment to them. So I feel that the major problem we are faced with in these instances is that even when you change the ends of those that are supposed to be monitoring those,
Your call credit has been.
Well, we lost that one at this time, and I really wish we were able to continue that conversation. But hey, that's the much we can, get to discuss with him this morning. We're really sorry for that. Probably some other time we'll have him get to, conclude our conversation. Well, it goes to show one thing for a fact. The fact is, and always remains, is that our pipelines needs to be secured. The fact that every single day we get to hear complaints of oil pipelines being attacked, oil theft here and there, and so many other things that are always happening, it goes to show that we have to do more to make sure that these places are safe. We have to do more to make sure that this is our resources. This is something that helps the nation. This is what we depend on. This is what almost all states get allocation from. But if we can calculate how much fuel we have in our country, if we can calculate how much that goes in, how much that goes out, how then do we share these resources? How then do we make better use of the resources? Because once there is no data, it becomes impossible for us to actually use these resources for the betterment of the Nigerian citizens. And it's a really sad one. And I really hope that the government can finally put an end to oil theft, because it can be done. It really can be done. All they need to do is make sure that they want to do it and actually go for it and do it. Finally, sir, welcome back, sir. So sorry about that. We got disconnected on that one. Are you there with me, sir, Mr. Sheson?
Yeah, I'm there with you.
Okay, so finally, just in a few minutes, we're talking about the oil theft, and I know you were drawing to a conclusion there, yes? But we have just a few minutes. As quick as 1 minute. This one is really important. We've heard the Labour threaten over time about, a nationwide strike and all. And we also saw on the news yesterday where the president, said he's going to be moving a bill to the National Assembly when it comes for the new minimum wage. And today, headlines, we see the Labour are saying there might be a 30-day strike if plans by the National Assembly goes to decentralized talks of the new minimum wage. Do you think we'll actually see something happen when it comes to the Labour and the federal government tussle? If this 30-day strike will eventually happen or not? Or do you think this is just another situation whereby when they are called to close doors meeting, after 1 week or 3 days, it's get called off again?
Yeah, you see, my perception about this issue of the Labour and federal government, it seems to be a different thing. I have been an agitator to say we don't want situation you want to increase our wages or salary or whatever name we want to call it. We want situation where you give us better life, improve on infrastructure, improve on certain things that makes life, and ask government to put on their thinking cap in strengthening our currency. I've said it times to that number. It's quite disheartening when you hear about the millions of naira that are actually being rolled out. You don't hear that from developed country. You hear of thousands. People are still paying as low as $1,000, $300 dollar, well, $500 for rent. Here we talked about millions. How can we strengthen our economy in such a way that our foreign exchange can compete? While we are growing up, you hear people talking about 5 kobo, talking about 1 kobo, talking about 10 naira, and it can do a lot of things. If you increase this thing today from 30,000 to whether 62 to 250 to 1 million, the fact remains that you are depreciating the value of the currency. And what we have asked the government, how many times have we had the government engage, the labor engage the federal government on the aspect of our refinery going to, and they are part of the system. That's why people like me have challenged them. They are working there. Tomorrow you hear PKMC saying they are going on strike. Tomorrow you hear the labor force. Are they not getting salary from this non-functioning refinery? And nobody is asking the government what to do. I feel rather than asking for minimum wage or no minimum wage, area of concentration should be how to engage the government to make the business more conducive. People are losing their job every day. Look at what we discussed in terms of inflation because of the high cost of energy cost. So it's impacting on businesses. People are retrenching on daily basis because they cannot cope with some of the total areas which not increasing the budget. It's a very few organizations that are able to pay. If government can afford it, how about the OPS, the organized private sector? How many of them can go ahead and do this? I think the labor should redirect their energy in making sure that we engage. If you call out strike now, you say we are striking because we are not fixing our refinery. Everybody will come back to say, yes, what is really happening? They promise us that the country will come up. They are telling us it will be in August. If anything does not happen in areas we should concentrate to reduce the burden of an average citizen, not asking for more money that we know that certain sort of people may not be able to afford to pay, even when the government can go ahead to pay.
Okay, I think that's a fine way to leave it. The Labour Congress needs to look for, channel our anger towards a better government rather than just minimum wage. I want to say a very big thank you, Mr. Sheson Okunade, for joining us this morning and giving us your insight on all the major stories making headlines this morning. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much, and I wish you the very best of the day.
And you too, sir. Have a beautiful one ahead of you. Well, we've been speaking with a public affairs analyst, Mr. Sheson Okunade, as he, delve into most of the major stories that made headlines. But let's, as quick as possible, run into your messages. This one is coming from John Amado. He says, "Good morning, impact Radio." Good morning to you, Mr. John. From Simawa, Ogun State, that's where he's from. "The lifting of traveling ban of Nigerians to Dubai is not an achievement at all, rather open windows for the politicians and our corrupt leaders to continue their usual deals and hide out investment. Considering the conditions involved, it is not for the poor masses. On the issue of minimum wage, the government is pushing the Nigerian labor to the wall, and the labor has to take the bull by the horn to face the reality of life by fighting for a living wage and demand for a good economic situation. The era of governments imposing different policies on Nigerians without consultation and acceptance by the masses has to stop, because we cannot be slaves in our own country." So much John Amodo has to say, but if I go on, I will not meet up with time. Still have other stories that are here. God bless you all. My name is Nnamdi Oye from Ogba. Still on federal government's bag of rice palliative. It is a mockery of a nation at this century that this present federal government are still sharing small cup of raw rice as palliatives to vulnerable Nigerians. There are millions of vulnerable Nigerians. Majority of these people are still living in rural areas. Instead of the government to subsidize or reduce the prices of food, stocks in the market, and this end insecurity in the country. So much. And finally, last message here. Good morning, High Impact FM. Why do our security agencies always talk about oil theft and nothing is being said about solid minerals theft? Is it only crude oil we have in Nigeria? Why are security agencies not arresting or setting ablaze illegal mining sites in the northern parts of the country like they do in the Niger Delta area? Why? That's the question. Do the solid minerals in the north belong only to the people in the north? This one is coming from Victor Anya from Ogba. I want to say a very big thank you to everybody who participated. John Nnamdi, I'm sorry I couldn't read all of your message. At least I read the better part of the message. Thank you so much for being a part of today's edition of the Newspaper Review. We'll come your way again tomorrow with another exciting edition, another informative one. Till then, my name is Uche Okorie. Have yourself a beautiful day ahead.
And my name is Oluwatomi Owoborode.
And of course, Toluwase Akiwumi. Enjoy.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 39.